Welcome along, and we continue the army analysis series by today looking at the Granadine 1232 AD list, and they have Berber allies. These are the only allies for this particular army. So we're playing at 1200 points. As I always say, that's what we use in the league. For high Middle Ages, so that's why we're at 1200 points. We've got quite a lot of spearmen. We have got the veteran Muslim spearmen, which are absolutely excellent unit, 57. Excellent because they get their plus 50 from their superior quality. So spearmen are already pretty strong all-round unit, and so with them being superior quality spearmen, they're great. It's a pity we only get one. At 1200 points, I was thinking about this. Quite a lot of armies have just got one of the veteran spear or one Dilami. It's just, you always think, I could only have another one. But anyway, we've got one. We're backed up by your standard spear, which are great units for the price, 36. They do well against cavalry and most infantry units, and even better infantry units. They can hold out quite well. So that's great. And we've got 6. So it's a fair number. We've got a lot of raw spearmen. I've taken 5. In this list, it's a little bit difficult to switch things around. So there isn't a lot of options, actually, in some ways. So usually I might only take 3 or 4 raw spear, but I suppose I could take out a couple more irregular foot perhaps, but the way the points have worked out, it just seemed about right to take 5. So we've got 5 at the moment. We've also got some very interesting units, these Muslim crossbowmen, which you hardly see in any of the armies. So this is a bit of a unique unit, and they only cost 30, which is fantastic. So your massed archers are 36, and so you're saving 6 per unit on these guys. And there's probably not, I haven't really used them, but I expect them to perform pretty well, and I doubt there's all that much difference between your standard archers, massed archers, and your crossbowmen. They're both average unprotected. So my experience with your standard crossbowmen, they did great against cavalry, armor, protected infantry. So I expect that these guys will be the same, and at the price difference, they're a real bargain. So that's a plus for this list. I've taken 6. You've just got a few skirmishers, but because you've got quite a lot of bowmen, it's not such a big deal there, and they're preset so that you can't change them around. Cavalry, at the moment in this build, I've taken, well, you've got 1 preset, and I've taken 1 of the units of knights, and then you've got some great units here. So this is another plus for this list, the camel lancers, absolutely fantastic. You could actually take up to 10. I mean, maybe perhaps what I would do, we might look at this at the end when we start switching. Maybe I would take out a few of my light horse and the Muslim cavalry. Well, maybe oh no, it's the Muslim cavalry, isn't it? Okay, we are maxed at 3. Okay, but that's still a fair number. Great POA from being lancers, and then because they're camels, they disrupt cavalry. It's roughly speaking about another plus 70 POA advantage over your standard cav. So they can be anything up to knights. That's what I usually say, because of them being lancers and camels. They're just fantastic units. Great buy at 46. You got your Muslim cav. It's a little bit disappointing we haven't got lancers. We haven't got lancers of any kind in this list, so that's a negative. Okay, these guys are cheap, but they're fairly average standard kind of cav. We also don't have any nomad horse archers, which I really like, so that's another disadvantage. We've got the light version, but only 2 we can take, and then we've got a load of light horse, and 3 of them are preset. It does actually have another unique unit. This list has the Crossbowmen, the light horse Crossbowmen, which I haven't used, but I expect them to be quite good, because they're essentially javelin horse, but you don't have to go right up next to the enemy unit. You can fire from afar, which is great for the price. I mean, they're only 24, same price as javelin horse, but they've got bow, so they are a really good buy. Pity you can only take 2, but yeah, that's nice to have. It's a fairly compact list, not a lot of options, because we kind of maxed with the infantry, apart from irregular foot. Not a lot of options in the cavalry from what I've got. You've really only got a lot of light horse, and then the main option would be to take more of the light spear cav, but they're not super units, so there's no real reason to take a lot of them. When I was looking at the options, I think if we took out, because what have we got at the moment? We've got about 13 infantry, which is about average for the newer armies and the DLC. European armies are going to have more. We've got about 7 cav and 5 light cav, the 6 mass crossbowmen, so it's a fairly balanced arm list. So say we took out 1 spearman and some of the mass crossbowmen, gives us 69. Then maybe we could add, if we wanted some light horse bow, we could add 2. But to be perfectly honest, it's not such a great switch, really, is it? You've taken out 1 defensive spearman and 1 of the crossbowmen, which are both pretty good units. We've just got 2 light horsepower. So I don't know, and that's what the options didn't seem so great to me. I would probably just keep the spearmen in most cases and the crossbowmen. Let's just put this back. Also, if we took out the knights, maybe it'll give us 72 points, 75 with the spare points. So perhaps we could take out some extra cav, get 2 of these Muslim cav. But again, 1 unit of knights for 2 Muslim cav, I'm not sure that is such a great change. Alright, gives us 1 extra cav unit, but not such a great cav unit. So again, I'm not so sure. Most of the time I think I would just take out the 2 knights. So there's a few disadvantages with this list. Once you get past the knights and the camel lancers, it's all spear. Your main kind of cavalry is spear cav, and then it's all light horse. It jumps to light horse. So no lancers at all, no horse archers apart from the light horse archers. So that's not great. And just fairly limited options in what you can do. Yes, the veteran spearmen are pretty good, and it's nice to have a lot of spear, and it's nice to have camel lancers. They could come in really handy. I mean, maybe if you played well and you used your camel lancers well, I mean, with all this Muslim cav and the camel lancers, that's a pretty good cavalry setup there. You've got potential to do a fair bit of damage. And if we took out those two and just added the knights again, I mean, you've got 2 units of knights and 3 camel lancers. That's probably what I would stick with. So you've got fairly decent cavalry. But in terms of rating, I would probably give this list about a B. I think I would go B. I'd like more cavalry choices. You don't have any mixed bow. I mean, these are just all unprotected crossbowmen. Even your standard crossbowmen are protected. So against archer fire, they're going to suffer. They're going to suffer out in the open against cavalry unless they're protected. Got quite a lot of light horse. But not enough to back it up. So yeah, I think about a B would be a fair rating. I did have a look at the records. This is quite a new army. It came out in the first DLC, so the players haven't been using it that much. It's 3 wins, no draws, and 6 losses. So it's got a losing record. But that's 9 games. So there's, maybe people will play with this and do fairly well. As I said, if you can do well with your cavalry, backed up by your spear, it's not a bad army. It's not a bad army. It could do some damage. Raw spear I like for the price. It would just be nice to have a few proper crossbowmen or mixed bow, but which you don't really get in the Muslim armies, or a greater range of cavalry to help you out. I think that would be really nice. But let's see what happens in the league. And if you're playing with this army, let us know how you're doing. And if you're playing against it, then also let us know how you are getting on. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again soon.